Hey guys, Felicia here. Before we start the show, I want you to do me a quick favor. Can you hit that like button? Can you hit that subscribe button? Can you leave me a written review? If you've been listening to this show, you love this show. If you've had a coaching session with me and you rocking with me and this show has helped you, please let the people know. Please write a review. This helps other people know about the show. Also, go share this with somebody. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Because I'm telling you, like even in today's episode, gems are about to be dropped. Don't hoard the gems. Share. The more gems you share, the more gems you'll get. It's the law of the universe. Okay? All right. Now let's start the show. Welcome to the Trill MBA Show. I'm your host, Felicia Ann Rose Enuha, aka the Trillest MBA you will ever know. And I'm here to help you survive and thrive in corporate America by giving you the truth and being as real as only I can be. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm so glad you're here. I have a very important topic that we need to discuss, and it is around all things, what's your new workplace like after the pandemic? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, tomorrow is Juneteenth, okay? That's Freedom Day. Now, I'm not going to get into a rant about how I feel about how we all got the day off now. It's a federal holiday. Even the bank is closed. But do people understand why? Yeah, so our coworkers are going to tell us about the extra vacation day and all that they did to celebrate Juneteenth. I say we get it together and we figure out how we make these workplaces work for us. So I got some gems to drop today. I'm so excited about this episode. I hope that you use the day off tomorrow to digest these nuggets because I want you to thrive in these post-pandemic corporate streets. Okay? Okay. So now, here's a hot take from LinkedIn. Robert Hargrove, and there'll be a link to this LinkedIn post in my show notes. He started out his post with, "It's not in your best interest to work from home." Now listen, let me tell you something. You know, I was hot. I was like, first of all, white man, you don't even understand. Like, this is how my inner dialogue goes. Y'all know me by now. But it always irks me when somebody takes this stance about remote work versus being in office because nobody thinks about the nuances. Nobody talks about the benefits. Nobody talks about how you can trust your workforce. Nobody's talking about that. Everybody's like in this rush to get us all back in the office. And so today I'm going to talk through what all this means, all these different workplaces, what it means for us, and the things that we need to think through as we're managing our career for our best possible outcome. Okay? So we're going to get right into it. So I want you to grab your favorite beverage, get your notebook. If you're driving, just listen. You get your notebook later. And I'm about to spill the tea on all things workplace model related. Now, first, let's just get a grounding of this landscape, right? We've got three main different types of workplace models. We've got remote work, we've got hybrid, which is you're remote some days and then some days you're in the office. And then you've got in office all day, every day. It feels like 5 days a week, maybe longer, who knows? Now, understandably, some of us cannot work remotely because if you're a surgeon, I don't know how you do surgery remotely. Like, I just don't know how that works. If you're a nurse, I don't know how you take care of people from your house. Now, I will give the therapist a big up because getting therapy remotely has been amazing for me because I can travel all over and still meet with my therapist every other week. So, some things are really, really working when it comes remote, but some people, they really have to be there. Like, your lovely grocery store clerk who's checking out your high-ass eggs. That person cannot work from home. So I get it. There are inequities around working from home. But as far as you and what you need to be doing, you working in a corporate place probably have these 3 options possibly available to you. And so I want us to think through, what Mr. Robert here said, because, he might have you believing that you need to be in the office because you're going to miss all this chit chat near the water cooler and all this yang woo woo. But we all know, we already have to build relationships differently. So going into the office isn't necessarily going to guarantee that our careers are going to just skyrocket and be great because we're there, because they already got issues with us there. So I'm here to tell y'all, you can connect and build relationships remotely or in a hybrid environment. There's been lots of people breaking glass ceilings right from their living room office, right? So, and the research shows that remote workers often report higher productivity due to fewer workplace distractions. So, Mr. Robert, I know you mean well, but you're lacking some things in your defense to remote work. So now when we think about hybrid work, hybrid for me is like your favorite mixtape. It's a blend of home comforts and office vibes. So sometimes when you need to get in somebody's face, you can go in the office, right? I know sometimes it may feel like we're in 2 places at once because we are, but we've been multitasking. Even though studies have shown that humans cannot multitask. How many Black women were in that study? That's all I want to know. So you have remote work, fully remote. You have hybrid work. But then you also may have this whole be in the office. And you have to return to office. And we're going to talk deeply about that in the last segment of the show. But let's say your workplace is mandating you back into the office. It's not the worst thing in the world, right? There are some advantages to being in the office. There are some advantages to being straight up in the faces of the people you work with. And there's also some knowledge sharing that you get in being in the office that you may not get, or it may be harder to get when you work remote or even work hybrid. So y'all already know I'm biased. You can see it on my face if you're watching this in the Patreon, or if you're listening to this anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm telling you right now, my face is screwed up. Like, I hate being in the office. Now that I've had a taste of fully remote work, I do not want to see you people. I do not want to be there. I do not want to be in the office. We can be on Teams. Me and Teams, we cool. Not as cool as ChatGPT, but we are cool. I am cool, okay, with working remotely fully and having that flexibility. I love it. So I'm just going to preface this now. I am biased. But what I want you to do and take from this episode is working to figure out and understand how you work best. And you can determine that only for yourself. Your job cannot determine that for you. You know, you really have to do that self-reflection and be honest with yourself. Because do you like remote work because you get more work done? Or do you like remote work because you can get your hair done while you in a meeting? Like, let's be honest about it, sis, okay? And if you doing all these other outside things are distracting you from doing your best work, then you might need to be in the office sometimes. But that is only for you to decide, okay? You have to pick which model works best for you while you deliver your best work and you manage your image and you maximize your exposure. It's the PI model. And I will put a link to the episode that talks thoroughly about the PI model, the whole series about the PI model in the show notes of this episode, okay? But in choosing a workplace, remember that you are executing against this model of success, and you have to pick the workplace model that works best for your success. Okay? Now, after the break, I will provide some practical strategies for you to thrive in each of these workplace settings when we get back from the break. Hey there, travel enthusiasts. Are you tired of struggling to find hair and skincare products that cater to your unique needs while on the go? Look no further than BlackTravelBox.com. Black Travel Box is your one-stop shop for travel-sized natural hair and skincare products, specifically curated for Black travelers. No more settling for generic products that don't work for your hair type or skin tone. Whether you're jet setting to a tropical island or embarking on a cross-country road trip, Black Travel Box has you covered with their convenient and TSA-approved travel kit. Plus, by supporting Black Travel Box, you're not just getting high-quality products, but you're also supporting a Black-owned business that is dedicated to promoting inclusivity in the travel industry. So, travel in confidence, style, and grace with Black Travel Box. Visit blacktravelbox.com now and get ready to slay your next trip. Don't let your beauty routine suffer while you explore the world. And hey guys, let me tell you, Black Travel Box products are amazing, especially that body butter. Listen, I got a promo code for you. Use the code JETSET. That's JETSET, all caps, JETSET. And you can get a discount from Black Travel Box because of who? The Trillis MBA. Happy travels, beautiful people. Now, let's get back to the show. And we are back from the break. Listen, go. Get you your Black Travel Boxes. If you're traveling this summer, it's coming in so clutch. Fit right in my little carry-on. Did have no issues with TSA. Listen, it's everything. All right, guys. So now, before we went to break, I just broke down 3 different work models that we are being forced to consider in our careers, in our workplaces. And at this time, there's a lot of words in the zeitgeist pushing us to go back into the office full time like we were post-pandemic. Now, here's the thing. I disagree with fully working in person, just mostly for our mental health, right? But forget my biases. This is about you. So I want to give you some practical strategies to thrive in each one of these workplaces because we have to play to win, guys. So no matter if you're in a fully remote working environment, you're in a hybrid model where you go into the office 2 to 3 days a week, or you're in the office Monday through Friday, full time, as if there wasn't a whole pandemic. Here's some tips for each. So we're going to start with remote work. Number 1, when you're working remotely, you have to embrace the autonomy and the work-life balance offered, which means you got to be efficient, okay? So you cannot sleep in every day. You still need to give yourself a routine and a structure and get things done. But you also want to take advantage of having that time with your family or structuring your time where you can create some space during the day for self-reflecting and meditating and the mental work. This really takes you knowing how you work best. Are you more a morning person? Is that when you get your best work done? Or are you an evening person? Do you get your best work done in the evening? So it's very important for you to just embrace it and show up as your best self every day, right? Which leads to number 2, you need to practice self-motivation and you have to have a curiosity to learn, and that has to be strong, which means every day you need to make it a point to connect with somebody, to ask questions about what's going on with the business. You have to work extra hard to stay in tune with what's going on with your workplace, especially if the vast majority of your coworkers are remote too. You really have to put in some extra effort to show up and get knowledge where if you were in office, you probably could get it in passing. Now you're really going to have to work to create those water cooler conversations for yourself, right? And that just takes a level of curiosity, probably more than what you would have if you were in office, because things would be coming, information would be flowing to you easier. You really have to work to engage with your colleagues. So one of the things I do when I'm working remote is I make sure I have cadences with employees and with leadership that help me to continue to have exposure to them so that I don't get forgotten or I don't become an afterthought. So you have to really work to put those things on calendar. And especially with leadership, a lot of times they'll reschedule. Stay on it. Don't give up. Keep fighting to get that FaceTime with them, even though it's virtually, okay? That is really important, especially as you're trying to get promoted or you're trying to, move up in your career at this company. You have to be the one to make sure that you're in these people's faces, even though it's via Teams or Zoom or Google Chat or whatever. You got to do it. The other things you really got to focus on is making sure that you are able to focus, that you're managing distractions, because let's be honest, if you have a house full of people, you don't live by yourself, and you've got laundry, you've got chores, you've got just everyday life that you would handle on nights and weekends when you were working in the office. Now you've got to juggle that and still perform during your working hours. So one of the things I would do is I make sure I level set with my coworkers. And I also put this in my out of office. And I think I have it here. I'm going to read it verbatim. But if I don't, then I will let you know. But let me see if I have it, because I put it in my signature. No, I don't have it. I thought I did. So basically, I put it in my signature, and I stole this off LinkedIn. It's called a truly human notice. And basically, in a nutshell, it said, hey, we live in a fast-paced environment. There's a lot going on. And so you may receive this email outside of core working hours. I don't expect you to respond. I expect you to respond at a time and a place that works well for your working hours. And so thank you for, taking the time to read this email, and have a great day or something like that. I don't know. That's not exactly how it goes. I will actually put in the show notes the actual copy from my email signature that I stole off of LinkedIn. I have no idea who I stole it from. So if y'all know who I stole it from, let me know so I can give them credit. But I sure did steal it. And I stole it with pride. And I will continue to do that throughout my whole entire life. And I suggest you do the same. But I put that in my signature, and I let people know, like, hey, here are my core working hours. Here's when I take my lunch. So if you're looking for me, you may not be able to find me. Also, in Teams, I want you to use the tools of your status to let people know what your status is, right? So that if you're busy, you're busy. And I want you to stick to that too. Just because you're not in the office and you're not getting the physical drive by to your desk doesn't mean your coworkers aren't also trying to drive by in Teams. Because there's a lot of times I would get calls in Teams and I'd just be like, no, I'm busy. It says I'm busy. You see I'm busy. And I'm actually working on something. I'm doing brain work. So I need to focus and concentrate and get this PowerPoint done. So use those tools, use those productivity tools to your advantage when you're working remotely. The other thing you need to be really conscious of and really doing, you need to seek feedback often. Seek feedback from your peers, seek feedback from your manager. Make sure you have that weekly or bi-weekly cadence with your manager on the calendars. Make sure you hold your manager accountable to being there for you and helping you, okay? So this is why this is so important. I have learned in my career that if people don't see you, they think you're not working. They think you're not valuable. They think you're not important. A lot of the arguments against remote work and for going back into the office are predicated on this. But I'm here to tell you, even fully remote, you can either make yourself seen or you can also make yourself disappear. The choice is yours. Whether you're in office or working remotely, you still have to put in the work. We all have to put in this work to make sure we're getting this exposure and make sure that we're doing the right things. That doesn't change when you're working remotely. So remember that. Now, here are my tips for hybrid work, if you're working hybrid. Now, one thing about hybrid work, because you're now going in the office and you're working from home, this can be a recipe for disaster of sucking up your time. So you, one, are going to have to establish very, very clear boundaries on your time. When you go in the office, you work from this time to this time. You take your lunch at this time, or if you choose not to take a lunch, you leave at 5, right? Don't let that time creep. And because people are staying late because they're only in the office for 2 days a week, don't do that. If they pay you for 40 hours, work your 40 hours. And I mean, work that 40 hours hard and then leave that all on the table. Do not not have boundaries. And also be consistent about the days you come into the office. When you create that sense of consistency and people feel like they can depend on you, that helps drive your image. That also helps to gain you more exposure, because now people are going to come in the office. If they need to see you, they'll come into the office on Tuesday and Wednesday if those are your days, and you've let that be known and you're consistent with that. Okay. And if there are meetings that you like needed for, and they're like, oh, we want to move this meeting to another day, just tell them like, hey, I'm not in the office those days. So make sure you have a dial in. But you create the consistency, you drive the consistency, okay? The other thing you want to do is make sure you schedule for your in-office days. That's when you schedule meetings. Your remote days should be for brain work, where you don't need to be around people. You can isolate yourself and you can focus. But on the 2 or 3 days you're in the office, you should load up on meetings, coffee chats, connecting, in-face interactions. Maximize your time in the office with that. You'll get the most bang for your buck that way in driving your career. Okay. The other thing you need to do is to develop some new communication techniques for the hybrid environment. So mind you, it doesn't make sense for you to be sitting on Teams at the office. Okay. So make sure that you're balancing and paying attention to the type of meetings you're accepting on your in-office days versus at-home work days, and making sure that you have a correct communication flow for your team, for your manager, because this way you'll be most efficient and they'll be most efficient with everyone's time. So it's very, very important. And then the other thing you got to do is embrace the flexibility. And especially if you need information from them or you need them to create a document for you or some type of output that you're waiting for them, like understand you really have to work to allow grace for people as you guys are all going in and out of the office and possibly at different times. It may be that you're in a workplace where, according on what team you work on or what function you work in, that dictates the days you have to be in the office, and that could be different from yours. So everybody is going to need grace in this environment. And so you're going to have to make sure that you're working ahead of your scheduled timelines to give everybody adequate time to respond and to put input and give value in the ways that their role needs to give value to your role and your work. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, lastly, I'm rolling my eyes. Full-time office work. So these are the tips about going back full-time. I know some of us are being mandated. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But if you're back in the office full-time, first of all, God bless you. If you never got to be remote, God bless you too. So these are some of the things you need to do and think about as you are in the office full-time or going back to the office full-time. Prioritize well-being and take regular breaks. Take your 15-minute breaks, take your lunch breaks. Make sure you get up every couple hours and walk around. Sometimes when you're at home, you probably do that naturally because you're going to go get a snack, go get some water, answer the phone, answer the door, get the package, all this stuff. So you're not constantly sitting as if when you're in the office in your cube and you have your headphones on, you're just trying to get your work done and be left alone. So prioritize your well-being and take regular breaks, okay? If you need it, ask for some flexibility. So like, if you have responsibilities outside of work or you need to take care of something, for me, I had an aging parent. I would have to leave on Fridays and go to the airport before 5:00 to catch the flight to get home so I could take care of my mom and my grandma before they died. And so this was pre-pandemic, Monday through Friday, I'm in the office. But hey, I would get there early and I would leave early because I had to get to the airport. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When it's situations like that, I don't really leave the employer a lot of room for compromise. Like, either you going to let me do this because I have to take care of my family, or you can let me go with some money and we can, you can talk to my lawyer. That's how I feel about it. There are some things that we just can't let be negotiable. So you can try to reason with them and say, hey, I need this. This is the flexibility I need, especially when it's not asking a lot. And especially when you are making up the time, then they need to work with you, right? Because you're giving your all to this job because this is how you make your money. So the other thing that you're going to have to work to do is foster empathy and maintain a healthy office environment. Now, look here, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people are not doing this. And I don't know how you maintain a healthy office environment by yourself. Like, I don't know how that happens. If y'all know, you let me know. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's only so much you can do. Now, you can work to not be toxic, and that would be step one. But you can't make these other people not be toxic. So then you have to put in coping strategies to help you deal with a toxic place until you can get out. But you focus on your health first and your needs first, okay? And then you try to be as empathetic as you can to all these other people, give people the benefit of the doubt, but focus on yourself first and keep it moving. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you're utilizing all the office resources for productivity and collaboration. So those meeting rooms, copy machines, office supplies, baby, the world is your oyster. So make sure you're using all that stuff. And hell, make sure you bring some copy paper home for yourself. I don't blame you. Okay? That's between us. Now, I've talked about 3 different workplaces and gave you some strategies on how to thrive in each one, right? And all of these tips focus on that. And the main thing you want to keep in mind is you are embracing autonomy, working well with yourself and others, and getting stuff done while also bringing people along appropriately. You're establishing clear boundaries, practicing self-motivation. That means you staying focused, and how you engage with others and build relationships, as well as prioritizing your well-being. So no matter what workplace you have, you've got to do all those things in order to thrive in the workplace. Now, after the break, when we get back, we're going to talk about some tools and resources that I have specifically for you, no matter what workplace environment that you're working in, when we get back. Hey guys, Felicia here. I just want to let you know that we are in a fabulous studio. You see a sign. I've got all the things, and you can watch this. You can watch these episodes now if you join our Patreon. Yes, so we are going to be uploading the video of the podcast in the Patreon, exclusively in the Patreon. You can catch some clips on YouTube, and that's all great, but you're going to miss all these facial expressions unless you are a member of our Patreon. Like I said, I know I made promises and promises. I know I've been a trifling Negro, but I'm telling y'all, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It just may take a little longer than what I thought. I might have been a little too ambitious starting out, but we here now. And if you're rocking with me, All you Patreon members, listen, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the people who are helping this show expand, grow, and get better. And we are here to help you. So one of the benefits of being in the Patreon is being able to watch full video episodes of the Trillin' BA Show. Pretty much starting Juneteenth, like that week, we're gonna upload this video for you guys to watch. So if you'd like to help this show and you'd like to see us grow, and this show has been helpful to you, and you want more tips, tricks, tactics, guides, all these things, we're going to be putting this all in the Patreon. So join us. The link is in the show notes, but if you go to Patreon, it's Trillin' BA Show. We're easy to find. And I appreciate all you guys rocking with me all this time. And, you know, it's a journey. And it doesn't matter if you don't like the journey, you're still going to take it. Okay? All right. Now let's go wrap up the show. All right, guys. We are back. We're going to wrap up this show because, you know, we have 3 segments. Now, this segment, we're going to talk about some tools. So I got a couple things that you need to think through for yourself to help you navigate no matter what workplace you're in. Now, whether you're remote, whether you're in person, whether you're hybrid, the thing you need is some mentorship. And I know we've been mentored to death, Felicia. How many mentors do I need? I don't need a mentor. I need a sponsor. Guess what? You still need mentorship. But I want you to focus on mentors that don't look like you. I want you to focus on mentors that have influence in the organization, but don't necessarily have influence in your team or function quite. Like they have influence with your boss's boss's boss, but not necessarily enough to like dictate what that leader is doing in their part of the organization. But it is really important to have these relationships in your organization. The other type of mentor I want you to think about getting is a mentor who also doesn't look like you, that works outside of your organization, but in the same industry. Because that person, if they're influential in the industry, not only can they hip you to information to help you be better at the organization and drive more value in the organization, which thereby manages your image and also helps you gain more influence in the organization. But they also can give you information about other organizations in the industry that may be looking for talent that is you. So again, it's important to do this. And how do I get these mentors, Felicia? LinkedIn, okay? Use LinkedIn. Best tool ever. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to use the networks that are available to you at work. Now, listen, y'all know how I feel about the ERGs. Or maybe y'all don't. Do y'all know how I feel about the ERGs? Let me break it down. Here's the deal. I did an episode, I'll link it in the show notes. I talked about not doing the black shit at work. Why? Because we're tired. I always guys doing the black shit at work. Now, I said don't do the black shit at work. I didn't say don't be a part of what the black people are doing at work. So make yourself seen and known. Just don't take on a second job at your job that they don't pay you for. Okay? Because that's, quite frankly, unnecessary. And it doesn't really get you anywhere. I have yet to see where the head of the ERG, except for a woman, so join the women's ERG, because they're usually led by white women. Join the women's ERG. But let me tell you something. I've never seen anybody that was the head of Pride ERG or the head of the Black ERG or the AAPI ERG or the Hispanic ERG. I've never seen that person. I'm not saying it don't happen. I'm just saying what I've seen in my career, okay? I've never seen that person be on a fast track, get super promoted. You know, I've just never seen the fruits of that labor blossom and bloom to such a degree that it would be worth taking on an a 40-hour-a-week unpaid role in your organization leading the ERG or even co-leading the ERG. I've never seen anything like that. If you have, hit me up. Let me know. I'd love to tell the story. I want a different narrative in my life. I want you to tell me I'm wrong. I really do. I know I'm not, but just please. Okay. So y'all get the point. Be a part of the ERG. Don't do the work. Just be visible. Now, the other thing you need to do is utilize your work resources as far as professional development, right? So you need to be updated on industry trends. You need to utilize online courses that are there for you. There's LinkedIn Learning. There's Masterclass. See if your company will pay for you some Masterclass. I pay for my own Masterclass. I love Masterclass. So don't sleep on Masterclass and see if your company will pay for that. There's also platforms like Teachable and Coursera, like all these places where people are giving knowledge. If they're giving knowledge in your industry, ask your boss if there are dollars to support you doing this, no matter if you're remote, hybrid, or working in office. Use these tools to get more knowledge, bring more to the table, pad your resume, and then when it's time for you to leave, you got invested in. You made sure the company invested in you, okay? So now you just on to bigger and better things, either internally or externally. Like, that's how this works. The other thing is make sure you're growing with technology, right? So there's tools like Slack and Trello, Asana. There's all these tools for connectivity, organization, and efficiency. I want to try this Motion app that manages your calendar, but I'm a little skeptical. But I don't know if you can help me with my ADHD Motion, and we might have something going on there. Again, none of these people are paying me for this. These are just some of the things I have awareness of. If y'all have better technology hacks and tips and tricks that will help us work faster and more efficient, let me know. But I'm going to tell you who my boyfriend is, okay? Y'all don't know who my boyfriend is? Let me tell you who my boyfriend is. I know y'all never talk about a boyfriend because there's not really one, except for Mr. ChatGPT. In fact, I have been using ChatGPT to help me produce these episodes and write episodes. It has been amazing. Now, is he perfect? No, no boyfriend is. That's just how life goes. But ChatGPT is my new man, y'all. And he helps me get like all my thoughts organized, helps make sense of what I'm producing, and gave me a lot of copy for even this episode that you're watching or hearing now. So use the tools that are available to you guys. And then the last tool that you need to stay focused and do well in any of these work environments is you really have to understand your self-care resources. So one thing I love about working in corporations or big companies that have resources like an EAP program, so it's an employee assistance program, and that usually comes with free sessions of therapy. And what have I always told you guys? Be in therapy. Please be in therapy. Because why? Because workplaces are trauma, whether you're remote, hybrid, or fully at work. There's a lot of trauma happening. There are a lot of crazy people, and you're having to just take all that in and still try to get work done. So please, 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 please get some counseling. I know you might say, I got Jesus. I mean, I'm fine. I'm not depressed. I feel great. Life is great. But sometimes you may need a third party that doesn't understand exactly. They're not going to co-sign on your stuff, but they're going to help you process things and give you another perspective. And sometimes you need that. But let's be honest. We in these workplaces, you know what happens to us. Girl, get you a therapist if you don't have one, okay? And go process some of this stuff so you can be the happiest and best version of yourself today, okay? The other thing is, there are some apps out there. There's Calm, there's Headspace that you can use to center and bring yourself back to your body, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's not frou-frou. I'm just saying I'm not getting paid to talk about these companies. So I just want y'all to know, use the tools available to you and put your self-care first. Okay? Now, let's talk about the most important thing before we get out of here. Most important thing. Okay, guys. Let's say that you were working remote because of COVID and the pandemic and all things. And now your company is on this bullshit. I mean, it's on, they want you to be in the office because we want you back, guys. ADD side note, I'm really pissed about this because nobody's talking about how governments, local governments, state governments, and even the federal government are like giving incentives to companies for making their workers come back and work in those spaces. Nobody's talking about that. And it's a lot of state and local governments. Why? Because if you drive more, I get more tax money. If you have to come to the office, where you gonna eat? And if you're eating, I'm charging sales tax. Oh, you parking? Oh, now you gotta pay for parking. I'm getting tax money from that. We are making people money just by simply going to work, i.e. government agencies. We're making them money. We're generating tax dollars by living. We're spending money. That's what they want us to do, even though it's inflation. They want us to spend more gas, pollute the earth, all the things, so they can generate more money. Because they lost a lot of money because people started working from home. So let's not be fooled. I'm not on some hotep, shit. It is what it is. It's facts. Like a lot of companies are getting incentivized to make their workforce come back to work full time. So let's just be honest about that, right? So now, how do you take your power back? And how do you say this work environment is best for me if it's hybrid or remote? Well, here's a couple of things that you can do because many of us are finding ourselves in this situation where our companies are dictating to us and mandating this return to office. And if you're not ready or willing to make that transition, you need to, 1, research and prepare, okay? So I want to encourage you to do research on the company policies, any legal considerations, any potential alternatives. Like, I need you to just get your data and your facts up, especially when it comes around how you're more productive, the type of worker you are, you're more productive in hybrid or a fully remote situation. And that you drive value to the organization better when you're in that environment, right? So make sure you're researching that. And then 2, you want to articulate your needs. So you want to write down what you need. You want to get clear in expressing your preferences, your concerns, and your reasons for an alternative work situation. And then the third thing you need to do is you need to come up with some solutions. You need to suggest alternative work arrangements that would benefit both you and your employer, okay? And when you do these 3 things, then you can start to craft that story and work to try to negotiate, right? It may not work out. You may have to go back. Why? Because somebody's making money. Let's just be honest about it. But here's the deal. For you Patreons, I am creating a guide on how to negotiate that goes a little bit deeper than this, has some double click, some extra steps that can help you be more successful in negotiating your workplace environment, the one that works best for you. So if you're a Patreon member, sometime in the next week or 2, there will be a PDF guide that you will have access to that will help you negotiate and put a plan of action together, this negotiation process for if you are trying to not go back into the office full time, okay? Exclusively for my Patreons. I told y'all I was coming for y'all. Okay. Now, if you need some advice or you have a specific question about a specific situation, go to trillandba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute consultation with me so that we can workshop your specific situation. Now, I may not have the answer, and if I don't, I will connect you to somebody who does, because my network is amazing. I love y'all. Or if you don't want to set up time, you can always email me at ask@trilliumba.com. We try to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If I'm not traveling, it might take me a couple of days. Those are business hours though, too, also, because I travel. But I'm happy to either answer your question or connect you to somebody who has the answer. If I don't have the answer, again, I got you. We're going to figure it out. Now, again, that's trilliumba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. Charges do apply. Or you can go to ask@trilliumba.com to submit your question or concern. Okay, guys? So I want you guys to have an amazing Juneteenth. Listen to this show, share it with your friends and family and all the people who are looking for ways to free themselves. This is now, like, our ancestors died so we could work in corporate. And so I will be your workplace Harriet, okay? I'm gonna help you figure out how to navigate this stuff so that you feel less oppressed and more free in your life while collecting your coins, okay? Because what are we doing? Why are we doing? Because we have to pay bills, that's why. So I got you. God got us. We're gonna make it. Just come back next week, okay? Gonna have a good episode for you. We're gonna have a guest on the show next week, so it's gonna be amazeballs. We're gonna talk about allyship. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. So have a great holiday weekend, long weekend. Hopefully I will find some barbecue in Los Angeles, California. Y'all pray for me. Any suggestions, hit me up, send them to me. But I will be frolicking in the streets of Inglewood on Monday, Juneteenth. So I hope that you guys have a safe and productive week this week. And we'll see y'all next week. Until next time, keep it trill. The Trill MBA Show is a Fair World Corp LLC production. Executive produced by Felicia and Rose Inuha. Sound design and editing by Chris Mann with Podshaper. Theme music is Kick Push by Brian Little. Keep it trill every day, y'all.